Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm not for sure how long it's going to be. Hopefully it won't be too long. Here's the deal. I'm having a hard time with everyone's schedule, my schedule, trips, holidays. We haven't had any leaders meetings, and I want to go over something that could really affect us in our youth ministry starting in January. It's one of the directions that I'm thinking about going. And what I want to do is I kind of want to pitch it to you guys and then ask you to give me an email back with your thoughts. Whether good thoughts, bad thoughts, supportive thoughts, or negative thoughts. So here's what we're thinking about doing. First, let me give you a little history. I have always thought that our small groups really struggled to accomplish what we'd want them to accomplish. I believe in small groups, but they've been a struggle. They've been a struggle for a lot of years, and we have these moments, like certain groups on certain years hit it really well and they do a great job, and that same group the very next year struggles severely to accomplish anything. And for a long time I've evaluated it and thought about doing different things. Talked to a lot of different churches, talked to a lot of different youth pastors, and really they have the same demographic and the same problem that they're facing in their youth ministry. Why? I guess I don't know how to ever make them successful when 60% of the group probably isn't really there with a strong desire to grow spiritually. When you pick 12 people and put them in a room, and you take your batch the parents are making them be there, or you take the batch that only came for the social time with their friends and like the whole church thing that's just on the side, and so you end up with 60%, 70% that are kind of just there, and you're leading it for the 30%. I think we're going to struggle, especially when you've got a group that doesn't know each other well, and a group that don't feel comfortable with each other. And so we've evaluated it, we looked at a lot of different options, and at the end of the day we kind of settled on this one. There's some things I like about it, there's some things I don't like. I don't know whether it'll fix our problem or not, but I think we're going to try. But I want to hear from you guys first. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to can small groups at the end of this year. Not the school year, but like December. At the end of December, we're going to disband all of our small groups. On a Sunday night, the night will look much the same. We'll still do worship, and we will still teach. But then what I want to try to do is I want to try to go into class groups. I want to try to break the freshmen off into a room by themselves, take the sophomores into a room by themselves, and the juniors and seniors. And then what we'll do is we'll have 4 or 5 care groups leaders, 4 or 5 care group leaders with each one of those classes. One of those leaders will be the master facilitator. They're the person that's going to try to lead the class through facilitating and talking about the message and how it might apply to their life. Goods and bads with that. A little larger group, so it could be more difficult to lead, but at the same time, with that large of a group, we don't have to feel the pressure to try to get everybody involved. And so the people that don't want to participate and are kind of just there, they can just sit back in the shadows, and frankly, that's okay. But those that want to be involved, you can kind of lead that. And you also have the advantage that we have a group of friends. Like I've just had all the classes. I had the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores over at Jen and I's house in these previous weeks, and you watch something happen. Like when they get together with their friends, they relax. They kind of just hang out and they chat like crazy together because they know each other so well. And I think by putting them in a group together, my guess is they'll be more prone to conversation. Like it'll be a rough start because we're going to have co-ed groups now, which, by the way, side note, people like Tanner Ducombe and Preston Janikin in the last 3 weeks have all said to me, Jed, I'll invite these girls to come to church with me. They'll say yes, but then as soon as they find out they have to go off in a group by themselves with a bunch of girls that they don't know for 20 minutes at the end, they can't get them to come anymore. So it also helps just the ability to invite friends, especially of the opposite gender, because they get to all stay together. But anyways, so we'll have one master facilitator in the class that will try to facilitate that class. And then other care group leaders will take on different roles. And I get excited about this. I think it could be really good. Based upon gift set and desires and our other care group leaders' makeups, what I want to do is I want to have a care group leader in each class who's in charge of service projects for that class. And so using the seniors as an example, and I'll use Gavin. Hi, Gavin. I'll use Gavin as an example. Let's say Gavin decides that he would love to figure out a way to get all of the seniors to serve. And so if we made a goal of 3 service projects per semester, so next semester Gavin's job as his care group leader, in addition to being there and building relationships and being part of what takes place in those class group settings, he's also working with a group of teenagers to put together the service projects for the senior class. And then we take cameras and video and we record those things and we celebrate that the next week in youth group. And we get to say things like, hey, look what the seniors did, and then hopefully we're having these happen all throughout the year. And I think there's a lot of you that can get excited about that. And you say, boy, I'd love to put together service projects. I also want to have another care group leader in charge of parties. It's big or small as you want to make them. If you want to take a class trip to Cedar Point, take a class trip to Cedar Point. If you just want to have a get-together on a Sunday night at church and have kids bring in food, do that. But some of you are really good at throwing parties. In fact, I think Angela, and Brooke, Brooke's group, I hear party all the time. Like, and your girls are loving that. And it seems like you guys are really good at that. And so I would guess that you guys would be like, I'll plan the parties. And so we want to let you do that. And I think you're gifted to do it. And so there's others of you that might get excited about playing that role. And what we want to do is with each class, we kind of want to give them their own entity. We want to have, again, still attempt to facilitate them as a group and help them work through how that message would apply to their lives. But then we also want to have care group leaders take on additional roles. I like to have a care group leader in charge of each class of contacting the people that were missing. So anyways, there's a lot of different roles, a lot of different ideas. What I want is your feedback. Just like, you don't understand everything yet, but your kind of gut response to what you've just heard, it will be different. And I've been starting to talk to some teenagers about it, and depending on what group they're in, they're either super excited about going to class groups because they're really struggling in their kid group, or they're a little bit disappointed because they really like their kid group. But I haven't had any really strong negative responses yet. So anyways, give me your thought. Oh, one more thing. You're not going to switch every year. So if you end up being assigned and working with the freshmen, you'll be with them all the way through the time that they graduate. So next year you're with the sophomores, which is this year's current freshmen, and you keep advancing. So if you're with the seniors this year, you'll start next year with the freshmen. And that batch of 4 or 5 care group leaders just travel with that group. I think we're going to find that you guys get to serve more in your gift set as we start to develop different roles within the youth ministry to serve. I think a lot of you are here because you have a heart desire to work with teenagers. You love teenagers, but the truth is maybe you're not all that gifted at facilitating. So I think it's going to be a good thing. Give me your feedback. So shoot me an email, please. Either way, good or bad, and let me know. All right, thanks. Hope this isn't too long.